Hello everyone, this is Kim, and I am here at the Desteni farm. One of my responsibilities at the farm is to take care of the organic waste, which is basically a fancy way of saying I get to feed the chickens. I volunteered for this because I absolutely love doing it. The reason I love doing it is because it makes a lot of sense to me. I have seen the videos, like the undercover videos that employees who work at factory farming facilities will leak onto the internet when you actually get to see the conditions of the chicken that we eat. Generally the low-priced chicken in the grocery store, you see they are in these terrible confined conditions where they're stuck in cages and they can't move around, and so that's quite the contrast to my experience here, the Desteni farm. So I'm going to show you today the conditions that our chickens get to experience. So I'll show you what they eat first of all. I have two buckets. That one has mostly carbs, rice, and some pasta. It's not very much, but that's cool because then you get to have a clear look at what the chickens get to eat. And this one is carrots and apples, some lettuce, pineapple, and eggshells. And surprisingly, I'm not sure if that was in the shot, but that's what was in the bucket. Surprisingly, the chickens actually love to eat their own eggshells. It's one of their favorite things because they produce the calcium and whatnot, so their body is constantly needing that calcium back. So they just eat up the shells and replenish their calcium so they can lay more eggs. So I'm going to show you where the chickens are kept. And I'm going to show you my definition of free-range chickens, because I have visited a farm before where their eggs were labeled as free-range. And when I went to that farm, the chickens were not free-range. They were in a somewhat larger cage than the factory farm chickens are kept. They were indoors, they were in the shade, they didn't get to go outside, but because they were loose in a cage, they were considered free-range. So now you're going to get an idea of what real free-range chickens look like and what they get to eat. As you saw, the buckets are quite empty. That's okay. Generally they're pretty full, not today, but their diet is supplemented by grains, mix which consists of sunflower seeds and corn, maize. So here they're coming. I'm just going to switch the camera around. I can't. Okay, I'll show you like that. They see that I have the buckets, so they're coming, running towards me. And this is their enclosure. So basically I just take the bucket and I just toss it in and they figure it out. Alright, so as you can see here, the door to their enclosure is kept open during the daylight hours. At night, whichever chicken chooses will sleep in there. There's a chicken coop at the back that's protected from the wind and the elements. There's a nesting bed in there, which I'll actually show you that right now. Okay, so this is inside the enclosure. You can see here we have the watering tank. It's automatically filled, so there's constantly fresh water. And over here, we have all the spots for roosting. And around here is where we have chickens who are nesting. They've laid their eggs. There's lots of spots available. And these chickens get to raise their babies if they so choose. A lot of the chickens will abandon their eggs, and those are the eggs that we eat. They are the best eggs I've ever had. They're the vibrant orange yolk. And I know that not only have I prevented perfectly good food from going to the landfill to rot, but I've also fed the chickens a very healthy diet, and in turn I get to eat very healthy eggs, so it's like mutually beneficial relationship. Also, as I've mentioned, the chickens get to decide whether or not they want to raise their young. And right now we have 2 successful mothers who have had 4 babies each. Some are a little bit older than the others. I'm going to show you now. And they each lost 1 baby to the hawks. But that's okay because the hawks also have to eat, and puts less strain on the mother to raise 3 instead of 4. Another thing I forgot to mention was when I feed the chickens the compost, the organic waste, as well as when the chickens are fed their seed, there's also enough for the local birds to eat. There's several species of birds that go in after the chickens and eat what the chickens don't like, and also they eat the seeds in the morning. So we're going to find some babies now. Okay, so I found the babies, and what I've done is I've got them in a horse stall so that I can feed them. I took a handful of the organic waste and I'm going to feed the babies. And I'm also going to stand at the door to keep all the other grown chickens out. They can get their food. The chickens basically eat all day long from the compost, from the ticks off the horses. They eat the bugs from the ground, organic waste, and their seed. But the babies are a bit more vulnerable because not all the chickens share. The mother chickens will share with their babies, but the other chickens will snatch the food away. So I definitely make sure that I give the babies food and let them have a moment to eat so that the other chickens aren't coming in and taking their food. So here they are eating. Those are our 2 mothers. These are the roosters. And some more chickens over there. And the trough where they're gathering around is where the excess water flows, so they have a water source at all times, even on this side. So I'm going to leave them now. Probably got a good fill. Alright. Last thing I wanted to show, I don't know if you can see it very well. We have 2 mothers here who have decided to roost in the horse stall. They have their nests side by side. I can see 2 eggs there. These chickens will leave once a day to go eat, and they spend the rest of the day roosting, keeping their eggs warm and protected. And this is all the stuff I've learned about real free-range chickens and what a chicken's life should be like. The chickens here are basically treated like an equal, in that obviously they're not equal to a human in many ways, but I'm talking about the kind of equality where the needs of the chicken are met and the chicken is allowed to live out its normal life. It's rare you see that in this world. This is the way chickens should be. But we abuse chickens and we abuse most of the food we eat, and therefore when we eat that meat, you know, we're getting the stress, we're getting meat that has been through a lot, and then we're putting that in our bodies instead of treating the animals with respect and honor and eating their meat gratefully with appreciation and regard for the life of the animal that had to die in order for us to live another day. Alright, thank you. This is Kim from the Desteni farm, and I will see you in the next video.